Did you know that throughout human history, every single government-backed currency has eventually gone to zero? Every single one. From the Roman Denarius to the French assignat, this pattern has always been the same. They print it until it's worthless. Right now, you're watching the same movie play out with the global financial system. But this time, there's an escape hatch that didn't exist for the last 5,000 years. If you think money is just paper in your wallet, you are playing a game you've already lost. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the greatest transition of wealth in human history. What's up, family? It's Coach Masi, and you're locked into the Daily Hodl. This is where we break down the biggest financial news, Bitcoin insights, and market trends so you can stay informed, stay disciplined, and as always, stay ready for opportunity. I'm so happy you're here. And welcome, class. Let's dive in together. As a world history teacher, I want you to understand that the history of money is the history of civilization itself. From ancient Mesopotamia and Rome to imperial China and modern nation states, every society has depended on a shared belief in its money to function. When money was stable, trade expands, cultures connect, and empires grow. When money was debased, it was overprinted or no longer trusted, inflation followed, social unrest increased, and civilizations declined. These patterns repeat across continents and centuries, regardless of the culture or technology they had. Studying the history of money allows us to see the common thread that links the rise and fall of civilizations and helps us understand that economic systems are not just technical tools, but reflections of human behavior, power, and trust. This content is for educational purposes only. I'm so glad you're here. To understand where the future of money may be headed and why some people believe that future could include Bitcoin, we first have to understand where money began. Humans did not start with coins, bills, or digital balances on a screen. We started with bartering. If I had a cow and you had a goat, we could trade and both walk away satisfied. But the system only worked in very small communities. What if I needed a goat and you needed wheat, and the wheat owner did not want a cow? Trade stopped. Economists call this the double coincidence of wants, and it became one of the greatest bottlenecks to human progress. Barter made trade slow, inefficient, and limited to people with perfectly matching needs. As societies grew, people needed a shared medium of exchange, something everyone would accept, something that could store value over time, and something that could not be easily created at will. Across the world, civilizations experimented. Some used seashells, others used beads, cattle, or salt. Salt was so valuable in the Roman Empire that soldiers were sometimes paid in it, which is where the word salary comes from. But these early forms of money had flaws. Salt could dissolve in rain. Shells could lose value if a new source was discovered. And when the supply of money could be easily expanded, the purchasing power of people's labor quietly eroded. This is one of the most important lessons in the history of money. When a society chooses a form of money that is not scarce or durable, the value of work and savings becomes vulnerable. Inflation is not just rising prices. It is the slow theft of time and effort. Each failed experiment pushed civilizations closer to better forms of money, not because they wanted wealth, but because they needed trust. And that long search for durable, scarce, and reliable money is eventually which led to precious metals like gold and silver. And centuries later, to the modern debates we are still having today, what money should be in a digital world. Eventually, across cultures and continents, humanity converged on what became the ultimate monetary winner, gold. Not because it was shiny or rare, but because it solved the core problems of money better than anything else before it. Gold is chemically stable, meaning it does not rust or decay. It's scarce, requiring real effort to mine, time and energy to extract it from this earth. And it is divisible, allowing it to be used for both large and small transactions. For thousands of years, gold became known as hard money, and entire empires were built, sustained, and measured by it. When people were paid in gold, their labor held value across generations. But even gold had a weakness. It is heavy, difficult to store in large quantities, and dangerous to transport across long distances. As global trade expanded, carrying gold across oceans became inefficient and risky. To solve this, banks began issuing gold certificates. These were paper claims that promised the holder could redeem them for a fixed amount of gold stored safely in a vault. At first, this system worked remarkably well. The paper was convenient and trust remained intact because it was directly tied to a physical reserve. The problem emerged when governments and banks realized they could issue more paper claims than the gold they actually had. As long as not everyone demanded their gold at the same time, the system appeared stable. Over time, discipline gave way to temptation. Printing paper became easier than acquiring gold, and the gap between promises and reality quietly grew. This marked a turning point where money stopped representing value and started representing debt. That trend reached its breaking point in 1971, when the United States officially severed dollars linked to gold. In that moment, the world transitioned fully into fiat money, currency backed not by a physical asset, but by the government decree and collective belief. Money became based on full faith and credit, rather than scarcity. Since that shift, the purchasing power of savings has steadily declined. Prices rise not because people suddenly become less productive, but because the supply of money keeps expanding. Understanding this helps explain a hard truth. Many people are not falling behind because they are failing. They are falling behind because the system they are paid in is designed to lose value over time. This brings us to today. We are seeing Bitcoin trade in a volatile range as Wall Street is trying to call it a correction. But the smart money knows this is a consolidation of the most perfect form of money ever invented, in my opinion. Bitcoin is the first money in 5,000 years that combines the scarcity of gold with the speed of the internet. It has a hard cap of 21 million coins. No king, no president, no country, no central bank can print more of them. History shows us that money always evolves toward the most stable and soluble asset. When we went from rocks to salt, salt to gold, gold to paper, and now paper to pixels, Bitcoin is the final evolution because it is the first time we have absolute mathematical scarcity. In a world of infinite money printing, the only way to win is to hold a finite asset. The question for today is this: how much money do you believe it will take to retire when it's your time? Drop your answer in the comments right now. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And also, share this with some person who thinks Bitcoin is just a tech stock. Well, that's your Daily Hodl. Stay sharp, stay disciplined, and as always, Lead.Pray.Hodl. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.